All right. So we said today we were going to talk about our tricky sound C, okay? Tricky C. Who can raise their hand and tell me the two sounds that tricky C says? Okay, Harley, what's one sound?
S.
It makes an S sound. So we're going to talk about the S sound today. What else did we say that tricky C can say, Gibson?
K.
It can make a k, k, k sound, like a K. So we've talked about before when we sound out words, sometimes we might read a word and it says k. Sometimes we read a word and it might make the S sound. And it can be tricky because they're both letter C's. But when we read, we have to see which one makes the most sense, okay? If you will look up here, I have two sounds written up here on the board, okay? I have a K sound and I have a S sound. What we're going to do today is we're going to use a red color and a blue color to show that we know when we read a word if the word is saying a K sound, even though it's a letter C, or if it's an S sound, but it's still a letter C, okay? So we're going to work on that today. If you will go ahead and take your workbook that you have already that is on our page, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be using, and you've already got your materials out and ready, you're going to be using your red crayon and your blue crayon to decipher between the two sounds, all right? They're all going to have a letter C. So what we are going to do is see if we can read the word, hear the correct sound. Does it make a K sound? Does it make a S sound? And we're going to color that box in depending on what sound it says. So, friends, if I make a K sound with the word I have, what color are we going to color that box? Red. Yeah, that's exactly right. And then if we hear a S sound, what color are we going to color in the box? Blue. All right, so that's going to show me, when they read this word, what sound do they hear? Do they hear the difference between a K and a S sound? Even though, remember, they're all going to be a letter C because that's what we're deciding. Tricky C today, okay? We're just going to go in a row, okay? So you're not starting, you're staying with me. And we're going to go quickly through these words. So you're going to have to color quickly, okay? Remember how we talked about the word shade last week? Okay, you're just kind of coloring it in quickly, and then we're moving to the next word, okay? All right, let's start in the first box. Cameron, could I hold yours for a second? Here we go. You ready? So right here in the first box, everybody put your finger on the first word that you see. Put your finger on the first word that you see. I want you to try to read that word to yourself right now. To yourself, okay? All right, are we ready? I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and I want you to say the word out loud. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Clip.
Clip. You are exactly right. What letter does it start with? C. A C. Ooh, so it could say K or it could say S. So we have to be careful on what word we say. But you're right, the word is k, k, clip. What sound do we hear at the beginning? K. All right. And if it's a K, then what color are we going to color in that box? Red. Go ahead and do that now. And I'm going to write the word that we have up here. Go ahead and color in that box red. Quickly, quickly. You're only going to have about 10 seconds to color in each box. So quick, quick, quick. Shade, shade, shade. And then we're going to move to the next one. So right here, you're going to color it red. Got your red crayon? Okay, color it red.
Sam.
Oh, it's okay. I gave y'all the wrong workbook. Sorry, I mixed it up when I handed it back, didn't I? That's okay.
Yeah.
Just color it red. All right, so that we're moving on quickly, here's what I want you to do after you've colored in that first box. You're going to go to the next box, okay, that's beside it. It starts with a P, P, P. I want you to try to read that word to yourself, okay? Try to read that word to yourself. When you can read it to yourself, I want you to give me a thumbs up. When you can read it to yourself, give me a thumbs up. All right, ready? I'm going to choose someone to read it out loud to us. Aislinn, what's the word? Pencil. Where is the letter C in this word? Ooh, it's in the middle, almost towards the end of the word. Now, could I sound this word out 2 ways? Could I say pencil? Could I say pencil? I can sound it out both ways. Does it make sense making a K sound? No. So you know what? Then I could go back and go, ooh, that didn't make sense. Let me try it the other way, which I know is a S sound, and it does make sense. So we do hear S in the middle of pencil. So right now, what color are you going to color this box in? Blue, because it makes the S sound. Go ahead right now, and I'm going to write the word pencil so we see what words we have for each sound. Go ahead and color that box in blue. And you're going to do the same thing. After you've colored, the box in blue, then you're going to go to the next word and you are going to try to read that word to yourself and see what we hear, okay? All right, friends, looks like most of us are finished. Here we go. Next box. Read it to yourself. I'm going to give you 3 seconds. When you can read it, give me a thumbs up. Ariana, what's the word that you see in that third box? Carve. We see a C at the beginning of the word. Ariana, is the word carve making a K or a S sound? It's making a K sound. Friends, would it make sense if I said sarve? No. So if I did make a S sound and I sounded it out and I read a word that said sarve, we know that doesn't make sense. So we could sound it out another way because we know tricky C can be difficult. So we would make a K sound and it would be carve. Okay? All right, here we go. So we are going to put it under the red column. Carve. Okay? Go ahead right now and color in that word red. Okay? Go ahead and color it red. Hey, Aria, you want to come sit right over here?
I see a pattern.
Thank you. Oh, yes. Someone said they see a pattern. Does that mean the pattern's going to continue? No, we do see a pattern, though. We see a red, blue, red. That is correct, but maybe the pattern might stop. We will see, okay? All right, very nice. All right, we're going to move a little faster, so I'm going to need you to shade a little faster, okay? Remember, does it have to be perfect? No, okay? All right, here we go. On the second row, I want you to try to read the first word. Let me show you where it's at, okay? Looks like this right here. All right, are we ready? Read that word to yourself. 3 seconds. Tell me what the word is. 3, 2, 1. Grayson, what's the word that we read right here? Cells. Where do you hear where do you see, I guess I should say, where do you see the letter C? At the beginning, that's right. And it makes a S sound. So are we going to color it red or blue? Blue. Go ahead and write cells. And it makes the S sound. Cells. Go ahead and color it blue. Same thing. You are going to continue to read, okay, this word. Friends, I want to give you a couple of minutes to do some independent work. Independent means you are going to do it alone. I want to see what you can do. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes, okay? And in those 2 minutes, I want you to continue reading these words. And then we're going to go back through and we're going to check them quickly to see if they make a K or a S sound. So right now, go ahead and continue reading the next one, and you're going to finish this, okay? You're going to finish this page by reading the sounds to yourself, seeing if they make a K or S sound, and then coloring in the correct box, okay? Go ahead and start now. All right. Good job. All right, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. I see a few that are already finished. Great job. And then we're going to move on. Good job, Grayson. Good job, Gio. Good, Gibson. See some hard workers. Good job, Ariana. All right, 3, 2, and 1. I want you to drop your crayon for a second. I will give you time to finish as we go over these words, but drop your crayon so we can listen to what we are going to do, okay? I'm going to call on a friend. You're going to read the word. You're going to tell me what sound you hear, and then we're going to decide, does it go under the red or does it go under the blue, okay? You're not going to tell me, oh, I colored it blue. I want you to tell me why you colored it blue or why you colored it red. You can't just say, it's red. Okay, you got to tell me why. Okay, explain your answer. So let's go to the next one. We stopped right here. Okay, we did cells, so we're right here in the middle on the second column or the second row, whichever one you want to look at it. Okay, right here in the middle, starting with the letter C. Raise your hand if you can read that word to me. Harley, what's the word?
K.
What sound do you hear? K or S?
K.
I hear a K. K. So I'm going to put cage under here. Somebody tell me, I know this is not talking about the K or the S sound, but what else is tricky about this word? Cage. What else is tricky, Leah?
The G.
What about the G?
It says J.
It makes a J sound, and we've talked about that, how J or the letter G can make a G or a J sound. You're right. So we would not sound this word out and say ag. Cag wouldn't make sense. So really we have two tricky rules in this word, the word cage. All right, let's go to the next word. Ready? Someone read it to me. What is the next word? Last word in that second row. What's the word? Let's go, Savvy. Bouncing. Ooh, I see a C in the middle. What is the C saying? Good. Bouncing. All right, good. Making that S sound. All right, let's go to the next row. Ready? Quick, quick, quick. Maverick, read it to me. What does that next row say right here? Okay, let's tap it. You ready? What is that second letter? Eh. Okay, so is it going to say k-e-n-t, can't? Or is it going to make an S sound? S-e-n-t, scent. It's going to say s, you're right. So we might have to change our color, and that's okay, all right? If we accidentally colored something the wrong color, could we just color over it? Yeah, because this is just practice, okay? But friends, this is a tricky one, okay? It does not make a K sound, okay? It's not k-e-n-t, can't. It's scent. So it makes an S sound. So we are going to put scent under the S. So it should be blue, okay? It should be blue. If you messed up, that's okay. Just try to color over it. All right, let's go to the next one. We're moving quicker. Gibson, what's the next word that you see? Ooh, say it louder so we can all hear. Center. It starts with a C. What do you hear, K or C? I'm sorry, not K or C. K or S? I hear S. You're exactly right. Center. Very good. So we're going to put it under the S sound. All right, you ready? Next word. Quick, quick, quick. Leah, what do you see?
Bobcat.
Ooh, bobcat. Ooh, that's a two-syllable word, right? It's actually a compound word, bobcat, right? Bobcat. So what do you hear in that word? K. Bob, k, k, at. Bob, k, at. So are you going to put this word, did you color it red or did you color it blue? Red, that's exactly right because it makes a K sound. So Bob, cat. All right, I'm not going to write the rest of them. Let's just talk about them out loud, okay? All right, last row down here. You ready? Somebody read me that first one. What does it say? Amelia? Catch. Someone throws you something, you catch it. All right, good. What does it say, Amelia? K or s? It makes a K sound. You're right. All right, let's look at the middle word. What is that word? Ariana? Dance. Did you color it blue or red? Why? You're right, because it says S in the middle. All right, last word. You ready? Gio, will you read us what the last word is? Magic. Magic. Ooh, you know what's tricky about this word? Where do we find the letter C?
At the very end.
Ooh, have we had a word that's at the very end yet? The letter C? We have not. So that's a little bit interesting. Gio, did you color that magic word red or blue?
Red.
Why did you color it red?
Because it sounds like the K.
It makes a K sound at the end. So magic. So that's why it would be red. Good job. All right. This is just review because we've been talking about the letter C and how it can be tricky. So good job on that. Here's what I want you to do. Take your Post-it note, leave it on that page, go ahead and close it. And we are actually fixing to see some of these words that make a K or a S sound in our new reading book. We are starting a new skills book today. So if you will go ahead, take your orange workbook, just set it to the side. Ready? Try to read the word first. And then do you notice anything about this word? See a couple, friends. Give you a couple more seconds. Do you see anything about this word that would be, I think we might have talked about that a few minutes ago. Hadley, what do you see?
I see, it says grace, but the C is making an S.
I want her to say that again, and I want you to be listening. Can you speak a little louder?
It says grace, but the C is making an S.
The word says grace. And she said, but the C is making an S sound. Is she correct? Yes. We're actually today going to start learning about CE because there's going to be several words that are in our new story today that have C and E together as a sound to make an S sound, okay? Now, grace is the title of our story. If you look right here at the bottom, we usually find titles, at the top of stories, but right here in these books, they have them down here at the bottom. Grace, that's the name of our new skills book. Grace is our main character in our story that we're going to start reading, okay? Grace is a girl in the story, and Grace lives on a farm, okay? What's a farm? What's a farm? Sam?
It's like where you have animals in a barn.
Okay, there's a barn, there's animals. Is a farm just a place with animals?
There's a house.
There could be a house, absolutely, where they live.
There could be a farmer that lives in it.
Absolutely, there's going to be a farmer there. But I think we're maybe not realizing something. So I think we're going to have a learning moment right now. Are you listening to me? A farm does not, they can absolutely have animals. But does a farm always just have animals? What else could a farm have? Nope, that's an animal. A dog's an animal. Amelia? Oh, ding, ding, ding. Look at that smart brain this morning. They grow food, crops, plants, things for us to be able to eat and use. That's exactly right, okay? A farm is not just a place where they have animals. Can they have animals? Yes, absolutely. Do most farms have animals? Yes. But does a farm just have to have animals? No, a farm can be somewhere where they grow crops and food and they harvest them and take them to the grocery stores or to other places where you can buy them so you have food. That's exactly right. We are fixing to talk about someone in the story today that does just that, okay? He is going to be growing crops, and it's going to talk about what he does with them when he plants them and they grow, okay? So, if you will, turn with me to the table of contents, okay? Table of contents, we know where it is found in the story, okay? Somebody raise their hand and tell me, what does the table of contents do? What is the purpose of a table of contents? Audrina?
So every time you have to move the page, and you could go to here and try to find the name, and you just gotta go over and find the two, and that's how you get to the page.
Okay, I'm going to tell you what she said because sometimes it's hard to hear. She said a table of contents tells you where to go to in the story. She said you come over here and you see where the title is, and then you follow these dots over and it tells you a number and it tells you what page to turn to. She's exactly right. If we're starting on our first chapter or our first story in this specific book, if you will take your finger and point to that very first story, it's called Mr. Spencer and the Rabbits. And if we track and we follow the dots all the way over, what number does it tell us that our first story is on? 2, page 2. If you will go ahead right now and turn to page 2, we will begin reading about Mr. Spencer and the Rabbits. That is the title of our story. All right, we are going to do what we usually do, where you hear Miss Harden read the story first, so you're listening, you're tracking along, you are just hearing the story for enjoyment. And then the second time, we'll popcorn read together today, and you will get an opportunity to show me your reading skills, and then we're going to see if we can hear any words that have that s or that k sound from what we practiced earlier today, okay? Looking for that tricky C sound, okay? All right, if you will, go ahead, just take your finger. I want you to use it to track along with me, and I'm going to share with you the story, Mr. Spencer and the Rabbits. And you know what, friends? In the title, I already see a tricky C sound. Before I even begin reading, does anyone see that tricky C sound? Grayson, what do you see? Spencer. Does it say spin-ker?
No.
Mr. Spinker? That wouldn't make sense. But Mr. Spencer does. It's a letter C, but it's making an S sound, okay? So I want you to just listen for enjoyment the first time, and then we will go back and I'll let you popcorn read with me, and we'll read it the second time, okay? All right, here we go. Everyone tracking along. Mr. Spencer and the Rabbits. Grace Spencer's dad has a farm. Her dad is a farmer out in the Midwest where the land is flat and the soil is rich. So this is about Grace's dad, Mr. Spencer. And she talks about her dad is a farmer in the Midwest. That's the location that it's at, kind of like the middle to west part of our United States, okay? Where it says the land is flat. Remember, we've talked about flat land in our knowledge portion, where it's flat, probably not a lot of trees, probably no trees, actually. And the soil is rich. The soil, we know what soil is. What is soil? Dirt, okay? And if it says the soil's rich, does that mean the dirt's got a lot of money? Well, what are they talking about then? When we think about rich, we think about people that got a lot of money. What do you think it means, the soil is rich?
It's good for the plants to grow.
Oh, that's exactly right. If something is rich, like the soil is rich, it just means it's got good things in the dirt, the soil, the minerals, the things that are inside that soil makes it good for the plants to be able to grow. That's exactly right. All right, let's keep going, keep tracking. In the spring, Mr. Spencer plants corn next to the farmhouse. All summer long, he takes care of the corn. By the end of the summer, the corn is ripe. When Mr. Spencer harvests it Then Mr. Spencer harvests it and sells it. That is how he makes a living. So Mr. Spencer is a farmer, and the way he makes his money is planting this corn, waiting for it to ripen, that means for it to be ready, and then he harvests it and sells it. If you harvest something, what does that mean? What does it mean to harvest? Anybody want to take a guess?
I know.
Think you know? Okay.
It's like picking it.
Right. If you pick it or you gather it, you take it off of the plant and you get it ready to be able to take it and sell it and make your money. Good, Gio. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. Mr. Spencer has a garden too. In his garden, he plants eggplants, beets, sprouts, and peppers. If you will look down at the bottom before you turn the page, it gives you examples of each one of those plants or vegetables as an example so you know what they look like. So if you've never seen an eggplant, it's this big gourd looking thing, okay? It's kind of a purplish brown color. That's an eggplant. And then it shows you a beet. Guys, the beet are these things right here, okay? It's kind of got a long stem on it with a leaf, and then right here it has like a purplish red kind of color. It almost looks like a radish, but that's a beet, okay? And so that's what they're talking about. Peppers, you know what a pepper looks like, that red thing in the middle, okay? That's not an apple, that's a pepper. And then the sprouts are these little green things that they kind of show in between, just laying in between these vegetables, okay? So those are the things that he grows in his garden. Let's keep going. A lot of vocabulary in this story. I like it though because we are learning what these words mean. All right, let's keep going. Here's where our next little characters come into place. Let's see what happens. Remember the title, Mr. Spencer and the Rabbits. Oh, let's see what happens next. Mr. Spencer has had some problems with rabbits. They crawl under the fence, hop into his garden, and munch on his plants. Munch. What does munch mean? You know. Gibson.
It means to chew.
To eat. That's right. When Mr. Spencer sees the rabbits in his garden, he gets mad as a hornet. A hornet is a type of insect, and they get really mad and they fly around everywhere. They're just really upset. So he gets mad as a hornet. So he's upset. Would you be upset if someone eats your crops?
Yeah.
Especially if that's how you make what? Your what?
Money.
Your money. Yeah. He shakes his fist and shouts at the rabbits. Anyone ever gotten upset before? Oh, he's upset. Let's keep going. Grace and her sister Jill like the rabbits. Grace says they are cute. She tells her dad to be nice and let the rabbits be. But Mr. Spencer can't stand those rabbits, and the Spencers need the plants in the garden to feed them in the winter. So Jill, Grace, they're sisters. They're like, oh, those rabbits are so cute. Let's leave them. But Mr. Spencer says, no way. That's our food. That's our money. We have to be able to survive. So I've got to get those rabbits out of here. Let's see what he does. Last summer, Mr. Spencer got a dog to force the rabbits out of his garden. The dog's name is Pepper. He is a black dog. He sleeps out in the barn. So Mr. Spencer's trying to solve his problem. Who is he getting to solve his problem? What do you think getting a dog is going to do to solve his problem? Oh, raise your hand please so I can hear you. Go ahead, Maverick. What do you think the dog's going to do? Ooh, you think the dog's going to eat the rabbits? Okay. What do you think, Harley?
Chase the rabbits.
Chase the rabbits out of the garden. Okay, I see a me too. Good, I like that. Amelia, what are you thinking?
I think they're going to
Bark at them, maybe scare them away. Okay, I like that. All right, let's see what happens. Go ahead and turn. This is the last page that we're going to read in this story, so be tracking along. Let's see what happens with the rabbits and the dog. When Pepper came to the farm, he gave the rabbits quite a scare. They were in the garden munching on sprouts. Then Pepper came charging out into the yard barking. Oh, good. You guys predicted well. The rabbits took off. They raced back into their hole as fast as they could. Pepper ran to the rabbit hole and went in as far as he could. He started digging with his paws, so not only did he bark at them, he's chasing them. So good, you guys predicted this really well. It was, let's see, he started digging with his paws, but it was no use. It was a deep hole, and he could not get down to where the rabbits were. So did he eat the rabbits? No, it just says he barked at them, chased them until they got to their hole, and he was trying to dig in there to get them, but it says he could not get to where the rabbits were. Mr. Spencer was sitting in the living room at the time. He could tell what Pepper was up to. He smiled. "Good dog," he said. "Good dog. I bet those rabbits will munch on sprouts somewhere else next time." So did Mr. Spencer's problem get solved? It did. How did he solve it? Raise your hand. Mr. Spencer actually didn't have to do the work. What happened, Leah?
Mr. Spencer got a dog.
Mm-hmm.
So, the dog could chase the rabbit.
Right. The dog barked and chased the rabbits out of the garden, away from it, so that way the plants could continue to grow. The plants cannot grow if the rabbits are constantly eating and munching on them. So if the dog would chase the rabbits away, the plants would be able to grow and Mr. Spencer could still harvest his crops. Bless you. All right, if you will go ahead and turn back to that first page, Mr. Spencer and the rabbits, we're going to popcorn read quickly today. And as we're reading, we are going to be able to see some words that have that s or that k sound. And friends, I don't know if you remember, surely you do by now, when they're trying to share with us a specific sound, what do the writers of these stories, what do they do to words if they want us to really see what's going on? What do they do, Abigail?
They make them big, black, and bold.
Oh, did you hear what she said? They make the sound, say it again. Big, black, bold, where they're really standing out where we can see them, okay? So here's what we are going to do. Are you ready? We are going to popcorn read. Each person that popcorns is going to get a little bit of a paragraph to read. And as we read, if you see a bolded black word, let's point that out. Let's point that out. Are you ready? We're going to have to read quickly. So I need you tracking so we can popcorn quick. Ready? Savvy, will you start with us? Everyone track with your finger and follow along as we read. Go ahead, Savvy.
Mr. Spencer and the rabbit. Grace Spencer's dad has a farm. Her dad is a farmer out in the Midwest, where the land is flat and the soil is rich.
Awesome reading. Did anybody see any words that were bolded here that have that s or maybe a k sound? Aislinn. Grace. There's one more.
Spencer.
Spencer. And they both have that s sound. Good. Are we ready? Savvy, popcorn, please.
Popcorn.
Cameron, go ahead.
In the spring, Mr. Spencer plants corn. Next to the farmhouse. All summer long, he takes
care
of the corn by the end of the summer. The corn is ripe. Then Mr. Spencer harvests it and sells it that. It's
how
he makes a living.
Good. I love how Cameron taps out the words if he doesn't understand what they are. That's really good. He's able to tap them out and pull it together to make the word make sense. All right, does anyone see a word there that makes the k or s sound? I actually see several that make the s sound. Gibson, what's a word? Farmhouse. And ooh, there's actually that S there. Okay, what else?
Mr. Spencer again.
Spencer. That's exactly right. Okay, let's keep going. Popcorn, Cameron.
Popcorn.
Quickly.
Yeah.
All right, Leah, read this page, and I'm going to let you read a little bit of the next one since this one's short. Go ahead.
Mr. Spencer has a garden too. In his garden, he plants and the sprouts and peppers.
Good. Keep going. We're not going to point out Mr. Spencer because we know his name is just repeated throughout, but it does have that s sound. Go ahead, Leah. Keep going.
Mr. Spencer has had some problems with rabbits. They crawl under the fence,
Hop.
hop into his garden, and munch on his plants. When Mr. Spencer sees the rabbits in his garden, he gets mad as they are net. He shakes his fist and shouts at the rabbits.
Very nice. All right, you might see a word that says s there. Ariana.
Fence.
Fence. Good. And we also see Mr. Spencer. All right, so Mr. Spencer is angry. He's angry because these rabbits keep getting in his garden, munching on them, and then he can't have them grow and be able to sell them and make money. So he's upset, and it says he shakes his fist at them. All right, popcorn, Leah.
Popcorn, Maverick.
All right, Maverick, read that next paragraph for us.
Grace and her sister Jill like the rabbits. Grace says they are cute. She tells her dad to be nice and let the rabbits be. But Mr. Spring
Sound it out. Okay, let's talk about that. Is it spin-er or spin-er? There you go. It makes that S sound. Very good. But Mr. Spencer
can't stand those rabbits. And the Spencer
There you go. Good.
need the plants in the garden to feed them in the water.
Tap it out. Winter. Very good. All right, so I see Mr. Spencer again. We've seen that several times. We know Grace says again. There's one more word that I see that's bolded right here. Anybody else see that word, Aislinn? Nice. There you go. Has that CE at the end. All right, so anybody else think the rabbits are cute? Anybody else would say, Dad, please let us keep them. They're just so cute. Let them be. They'll be fine. It's okay. All right, hands down. I know we think rabbits are cute, and they are cute, but they're not very cute when they're eating our plants, and they're not letting our plants grow, and then we aren't able to sell our crops and make money. So Mr. Spencer does have a real problem, and he's trying to fix it. So let's see what he does. We already know, we read it, but let's let you practice reading it now, okay? All right, will you please popcorn, Maverick, to someone? Harley, go for it.
Last summer, Mr. Spencer got a dog to force the rabbits out of his garden. The dogs,
You're right. The dogs.
name is Pepper. He is a black dog. He sleeps out in the yard.
Very good. So he's trying to force those rabbits out by using a dog to solve the problem. Harley, will you popcorn? We have 3 more people that are going to read. Quickly, quickly.
Popcorn.
Let's go Gibson. You ready? Go ahead.
I was about to say. When Pepper came to the farm, he gave the rabbits quite a scare. They were in the garden munching on sprouts. The pepper came charging out into the yard, barking. The rabbits took off. They wrapped back.
Hold on just a second. I love how you made it say a k sound, but it's not a K. So how else could we tap it out? Instead of saying they racked, how else could we sound out that word? R-a or R-a. St. There you go. Raced. They raced back.
Into their holes as fast as they could.
Good. All right. You see a word that says a C sound, or it has a C, but I'm sorry, an S sound? Amelia, what word do you see? Raced. There you go. Good. All right. Gibson, popcorn to someone. Quickly, quickly. All right, Ariana, read loudly for us to hear.
Pepper ran to the rabbit hole and went in as far as he could. He started digging with his paws, but it was no use.
Mm-hmm.
It was a deep hole and he could not get down to where the rabbits were.
Very good. All right, well, you popcorn to one more friend.
Popcorn. Sam.
All right, Sam, finish it up for us. Everyone track on the last paragraph. Go ahead, Sam.
Mr. Spencer was sitting in the living room. At the time, he could tell what Pepper was up to. He smiled. Good dog, he said. Good dog. I bet those rabbits will munch on sprouts somewhere else next time.
Very good. So you think the rabbits learned their lesson?
Yeah.
Did Mr. Spencer solve his problem?
Yeah.
Yes, very nice. All right. So, friends, the sound that we're working on this week, and I'm sure you kind of picked up on it from our story, is we're working on an S sound, okay? But we're not just working on the letter C that makes an S sound, okay? We're going to have words that have S. We're going to have words that have a C, but it makes an S sound. We're going to have words that have double S, okay? And then we're going to have a couple of words that are kind of tricky with the letter S, because the letter S and the letter Z sometimes sound alike, all right? And you're going to see in some words that we talk about this week that we have S's, but we also have Z's that look and sound like an S in a word. So we have to be real careful, okay? So we're going to talk about the letter Z in some words as well. All right, pencils are ready. Here's your first word that we're going to talk about this week. You're writing it so you have it ready for this week, but let's look at the sounds that we're working on, okay? The first one that I want you to write is this word. Super easy word that we're going to write. What's the word? Sun. This is just a simple one to show us that we know the S sound. Sun only has one sound of S in it, okay? Go ahead and write S, sun. Luke, you're writing sun. Okay? The second word, friends, that we are working on this week is this word. What's this word? Kiss. Ooh, go ahead and say it. Ooh, get it out of your system. All right, good. We're not going to talk about anybody doing this, okay? We're just looking at the sound that it has. Now, who can tell me, what do we call this? What do we call this right here? Double consonant. Yeah, good. I knew Leah she was working on that. Double consonant. What happens when we have a double consonant? What happens to a word that has a double consonant?
It has
Two S's, but do we say k, is, s? No. So what happens, Gio, with a double consonant?
It stays only one sound.
Right. The two S's only make one sound together. So k, I, s. It's spelled with two S's, but it's only one sound. All right, good. Number 3, here's another sound that makes the S sound, but it's not spelled with an S. We saw this word earlier today. Here's your third word. Write it on your line. What's this word? Scent. This is the type of scent that we're talking about when we talk about money, like a dime, a nickel, a quarter, a penny. If I say a penny is worth 1 cent, I'm talking about how much it's worth. So money is what we use when we see the word cent right here, okay? Now there is another type of scent, like I sent Gio to the nurse because he didn't feel well, but that's a different meaning and that's a different spelling, okay? So this word scent is talking about money, okay? So S sound, but it's tricky because it is a C. So we've got 3 words. Ready? Our 4th word that has a C actually has C-E. And we're going to talk about this sound more this week. All right? Here you go. 4th word is Prince. That's exactly right. Does not make a K sound in this word, okay? It's not prin, okay? Prince. All right? That C and E make the S sound. It's not spelled with an S. That's another word that we're going to have to work on this week when we do our spelling practice, is words having the S sound, but CE being how you spell it. All right, so we have 4 words. Let's go to our last 4 and we will finish up. You guys are being great listeners this morning. All right, here is where we are going to talk about that Z sound. All right? So Z and S are kind of what we could call sister sounds. They're very similar when we write and we hear them, so we have to be careful, okay? Here we go. Here's your next word. What is this word? Zip. This word is kind of like sun, okay? It's just very simple and basic. What we hear when we tap out CVC word. Z, I, P, okay? Your typical word that we hear with our Z sound. Z, I, P, okay? The next word, though, is like kiss. It's a double consonant word, but it's not double S. Look at your word. What is that? What is jazz? Oh, good. It's a type of music, a type of dance. So yes, jazz, okay, has to do with music and dancing. That's exactly right. But that's not what's important for us to know as much as the spelling of it. It has another double consonant. It has doubled Z. Do we say j-as? No. When we have double consonant, they only make one sound, okay? All right, we have one more word, and it's kind of tricky. If I say this word right now, I want you to tell me what you hear at the end. Ready? Pigs. Pigs. You hear an S? What do you hear? I didn't ask you what you would spell it with. What do you hear? Pigs. Do I say pigs? No. I say pigs. But guess what? When we spell the word pigs, we do not spell pigs with a Z. The S is being tricky. It makes a Z sound, okay? Now, somebody tell me this. If I say pig, how many is that? You're showing me. 1. If I say pigs, how many am I talking about? More, right? More than 1. I could be talking about 10, 10,000, or just 2. But, yes, when we have an S at the end of words, it's making it plural, more than 1. All right, friends, we have one more word to write. Are you ready? It's the tricky word of the week. We always have a tricky word. Here's the thing I want you to tell me. You're going to write the word, read the word, but someone is going to tell me what is tricky about the word. Are you ready? Here we go. Here. Here's the word. Somebody needs to tell me what's tricky about this word. And you know, there's 2 types of here's, and there's 2 ways of spelling them. This is talking about come here, okay? Or we are going to go over here and play hide and seek, okay? Whatever. Here, this type of word is talking about where you're going, okay? It's not talking about you hearing something with your ears. That is a different, bless you, that is a different spelling, okay? Make sure you have it up here, okay? Savvy, what's tricky about this word?
The last E doesn't make a sound.
The last E doesn't make a sound. Oh, it's a magic E. What's magic E? Tricky E, or silent E? What does it do? What's it do?
Go to the back. And tells the E to make a different sound.
It tells it to make a different sound?
A long sound.
A long sound, that's right. So it says E, and then the E does not make a sound. All right. Very nice. Please make sure before you close your book that you have all 8 words written. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sitting quietly and participating. I'm super proud of your hard work today.